Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crafting with Holly. It is March 8th. It is the second Friday of March, and I am here to share with you another piece of artwork featuring the stamp of the month, Just Chicken In. If you haven't seen the set yet, it is so fun. I love the lilies, I love the little chicks, and I love the chicken, the rooster, the hen, whatever you want to call it, with the baby chicks. It's such a great set, and it does come with a coordinating thin cuts. And don't forget, VIPs, the stamp set itself is free with a $50 online purchase, and then you can add the thin cut at a discount. So you want to make sure you check that option off in your shopping cart. Don't just grab the free one if you want the thin cuts. You do need to pay for the thin cuts, but you'll get the stamp set for free. And it has just been so fun to play with. I love coming in here every Friday and sharing with you another piece of artwork. Last week, I shared how to create this 2-page layout, and we did some ink blending, and we used that fabulous new stamp and thin. It's actually just a thin cut, but it is this little guy right here. It's the outlined alphabet, and it is so fabulous. I can't wait for it to be back in stock. It probably is by the time you see this video. And we just had so much fun just really playing with these cute images and using the new paper collection called Honey Bunny. And that is also found here on page 8 and 9 in the new book. So you'll get a free copy of this book when you place an online order. Just make sure that you add it to your shopping cart. And let's take a look at the cards that we're going to be making. And I was inspired by some artwork that was featured in this catalog on page 38. I love all of these beautiful hands, but I was really drawn to these cards, the simplicity of them, the beautiful layers, and wanted to recreate them for you. And they are found in my guide. All of the measurements, all of the supplies that were used are in my guide, and you'll receive that guide when you place that order to qualify for the stamp of the month in March. So we're gonna make this one today. It's just a beautiful, simple Easter card. I wanted to have that available for you at the beginning of the month so that you could get your Easter cards out since Easter is early this year. And let's just walk through how you stamp these images. So I'm just gently peeling them off of my carrier sheet. I did notice when I got my stamp that there is still some residue of the stamps. I don't know if you can see this, but there's just this little bit of, it didn't get cut all the way. So if that ever happens to you, just be real careful as you're taking them off the carrier sheet that you just use your thumb and just gently pull them off the carrier sheet so that you don't tear or damage your stamp. That has happened to me in the past, so I wanted to make sure that I said something about that this time around. And I'm just going to move some of these things out of the way and grab one of my blocks. It happens to be a smaller block. It's a 3x3, but you can put your images on the side and still use them, and they work just beautifully. So I'm going to use my foam pad that comes with the stamp set. I'm going to take some intense black ink. And if you haven't used your stamps before and they're new, just rub them onto your hand so that you can remove that residue that might be left during the manufacturing. And I'm just going to tap and twist on my intense black ink, and I haven't used this in a while, so I want to make sure that it has good coverage on there. And then I'm just going to stand over here and hold it for a few seconds and just press down. And there's a couple of different ways that you can use your thin cuts. You can cut them out like I just did and then stamp, or you can stamp it and then cut it out. And there's a video that I made last month walking you through that with the Troop Life set. So if you want some more additional tips and tricks on cutting out your thin cuts, I will link that in the comments so that you can see that. And then the other thing that we want to do is stamp Happy, and then we're going to stamp Easter on here. So let me grab both of those. Just going to gently peel off the Happy And I'll put that on this block, and then I'm gonna gently take off Easter as well. And I've already used these pretty well, so I'm not gonna season this one, but I'm gonna just stamp this right here in the center, just like that. And then I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna dovetail both of these sides, just like so. And I love our nonstick scissors, make it so easy. And then I'm gonna stamp Easter on this side. I thought that was kind of fun to just kind of draw the eye around the card. Just like that. Close up my ink. And then I wanna use the tri-blend markers to color in my Easter lily. I think that's what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys. I'm not very good with knowing what my flowers are, so if it's not an Easter lily, tell me what it is. Daffodils. Like I said, I'm not very good about that. Okay, so we're going to color in these petals. And I like to use just a circular motion when I'm coloring. And I'm not trying to press too hard. But I try to stay inside the lines because they do bleed, because they are alcohol based. In fact, I'm gonna get it off the pad. It might be a little bit easier for me to color. But I try to stay right in where the black is. And it will bleed and kind of move out to those outer edges. But I'm just finding that the more I color, the better I get at it. And I am no artist by any stretch of the imagination. I truly am kind of a copycatter. I love to look at beautiful artwork and try to recreate it. So it's a fun kind of form of color therapy, right? So I'm just going around all of these, and then I'm going to start adding more color to create some depth and dimension. So the next thing I'm going to do, and actually, you know what? I think I used some of the citrus. Yes, I did. So I'm going to use the middle because I wanted these to look a little bit more yellow. And do you see how going over this with the yellow, it really makes these leaves pop and have a much warmer yellow hue to them. But I wanted the base of the gold yellow first because I'm going to be coloring the insides of them with the gold yellow and creating that depth. I love layering with these markers, and you're going to find how easy they are to layer together when you want to create those depths of different hues. Okay, so now we're going to take the middle of the gold yellow, and that's the one that's going to go on the inside here. And then I want a little bit of that here. And then again on this one. And then I think I'm going to take the darker one and just color that in and just get a little bit darker. Look at how much it already has dried and how much softer it is. I'll pull that up closer to the camera so that you can see. Already it's so much softer. And now I'm going to take the dark side of this and I'm going to color right here, and I'm just going to create a little bit more depth right there on those darker lines, right there in the center, just like that. So pretty. Okay, and now I'm going to take the dull green blend, and I'm using the lighter color, and I'm coloring these leaves, and then I'm going to accent with those in just a minute with the medium and the darker blend. Just like that. And I'm just using some short feathery strokes. And coming around these edges and coming down like that. And now I'm just going to go back with the medium, and I'm just going to kind of highlight where I want a little bit more depth. Not all over, but just on these little, and then you can do the same thing with the dark, and just, you know, just kind of highlight where you want that shading to have a little bit more depth, just like that. And like I said, it does get a lot lighter. And then if you ever find that you went outside a line and you don't want that color there, just take the colorless blender and just go back over that, and it almost acts as like an eraser. I love it because, like I said, I make mistakes all the time, and having that colorless blender is so nice to kind of fix all of my mistakes. And then you can go back with the original color and just kind of smooth that out. But isn't that so pretty? And now we can put our card together, and this is going to come together so quickly. Like I said, there is a guide that has all of the measurements that I used, all of the supply list of all the products that I used. I love this Seabrook glitter paper. It is so beautiful with this paper collection, which is the Honey Bunny. And I have a feeling it's going to be quite a popular paper in my collection. Okay, I'm just making sure that I'm on the right side of this beautiful pattern paper. And then I'm going to put the top and the bottom first. And then I'm going to attach the glitter paper. And I just want it to have just a very narrow space between these pattern papers. Really, really narrow, because I want both of these colors to be able to fit on here, and I found that this is really, really narrow. So I may need to just move this down even more just to give it the space it needs. And that's what's kind of nice about building it from the top and bottom. You can see how much more room you need in between. There we go. And then if you need to give yourself some more room, you can actually move these down too. And there we go. I think that'll work better. So don't feel like you can't move it once it's down. I like how our adhesive is very forgiving, and then eventually when you need it to stick, it does stay permanent. But it's really nice because you do get that a little bit of wiggle room, and then just kind of twist it when you're lifting up on it. There we go. And then a couple of these look like they're hanging out a little bit more than I want them to. So I'm just going to come in here and trim them with my scissors. Sometimes that happens when I'm measuring. They are not always perfect. Okay, and then I'm just going to take the light side of the Seabrook paper and attach my white daisy where my sentiment is. And then we're going to attach this right here in the center, just like that. Attach my little banner right there at the top, and then I'm going to grab some foam tape and pop this with some foam tape And that was a relatively quick and easy project. And now I've got another beautiful Easter card that I can send out. I'm going to just peel off the backing here, and then we're going to use some of the clear sparkles to accent with this. And where did I put them? I was just looking at them. Right here. So I'm going to put one down here in this area, one over here in this area, and then one right over there. And there we go. We have a beautiful Easter card. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you next week when I share another piece of artwork. Have a great week, everyone.